All right, I think we've given everyone ample time to log in, so I'm going to begin. Good morning and welcome to another installment in our Health Pass New York PEO webinar series. I'm Jonah Morrison, Chief Operating Officer at Health Pass. Thank you to everyone for taking the time to be here with us today. I'd also like to thank Patrice Alvino from Decision HR for presenting this valuable information. In keeping with past webinars, we will not be conducting a formal question and answer session after the presentation. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A option at the bottom of the screen to enter your question. Within a few days, we will send out an email that contains all of the questions with answers, as well as a copy of the presentation. We are very happy to offer the Health Pass New York PEO in addition to the Health Pass Exchange as alternatives to traditional small group health insurance distribution. I will now hand it over to Patrice to tell you why you may want to consider a PEO for your small group clients and why that PEO should be the Health Pass New York PEO powered by Decision HR. Patrice?
Thank you, Jonah, for that awesome introduction. As usual, it's so great to talk again with all of my friends at Health Pass. I don't want to speak too soon, but it does seem like the world is opening up a bit. So if any of you would like to learn more about the Health Pass PEO, please make sure that you reach out to your Health Pass contacts, and my team or I would be more than happy to come to your office or to buy you a coffee so we can tell you more about how we can help you attract and retain your clients. So as always, I like to start off these presentations with a quick overview of who Decision HR is. We are the PEO behind Health Pass PEO and one of the top 5 privately held PEOs in the country. We recently purchased another PEO in St. Petersburg, Florida, and that combined organization has more than 55,000 worksite employees now in the US. And many of you probably know how the PEOs work. That means that we now have 55,000 employees on our federal ID number, which is what enables us to get those really great rates for benefits, insurances, ancillary products, etc. Think of all the PEOs that you're familiar with. We can compete with each of them on product, but where we really excel is our dedicated regionalized service representatives, giving each client one point of contact for all of their needs. And just to remind everyone, we exclusively work through brokers. So Decision HR is 100% broker friendly. We have no feet on the street selling products direct to clients. We want to be an offering in your portfolio so that you can consult with your client about all the options available to them for benefits. And just as a reminder, again, every PEO has 3 main products. Our health insurance offering is through Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield. Employees outside of New York get the National Blue Card access. So this is best of the best coverage at about an 8 to 12% savings from the open market rates. We offer our workers' compensation through AIG, which is a nationally recognized A-rated carrier. And like I said before, since we have those 55,000 worksite employees on our health plan, our rates are always better than they can receive in the open market. And finally, our HR and payroll products, which again is a dedicated support system that we're going to talk about a little bit later. If at any time you want to hear more about our health products through Empire or our workers' comp product through AIG, again, please feel free to reach out to your Health Pass representatives. We'd be more than happy to set up an individual meeting with you, or like I said, come on site to your offices so we can tell you more. So for today, the topics we're going to review are an overview of the US PEO market, why a PEO is a benefit to a business owner, so your clients, and then like Jonah said, why Health Pass PEO is a great option for them. Should take us about 15 to 20 minutes, so we'll keep it short and keep the content really valuable to you. So jumping right in, like I said before, we're the 5th largest privately held PEO, but what exactly does that mean? According to the IRS, business is actually doing business as a PEO, so meaning that they are pooling employees, doing payroll and doing payroll taxes. At the end of 2021, there were 487 recorded PEOs and counting. So what does that mean for you as a broker is that this market is anticipating more PEOs will continue to enter, which means more likely your clients are going to hear and be interested in one. Awareness of PEOs also continues to grow. So more and more clients are becoming interested in them. So it's definitely an area that brokers can no longer avoid. So by the numbers, what does that mean? 4 million worksite employees in the US are now part of a PEO, which is about 2.7% of all US employment. So think about this. If we have 100 people on this call today, 3 of us are part of a PEO. 216 billion in annual wages. So putting that in perspective, if you combined all of the employees of the 4 largest US companies, that's Walmart, Amazon, Kroger, and Home Depot, that would equal the number of employees that are currently paid through PEOs today. Or how about if you combine the employment of our 9 smaller states, Alaska, Delaware, Hawaii, Montana, North Dakota, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Vermont, and Wyoming. So what does that actually mean in company size? This translates to 173,000 clients, or 15.3% of the US business market from 10 to 99. So let's think about it that way. If you have, as a broker, 100 clients with 10 to 99 employees, that means 15 of those 100 are using a PEO. And if they're not currently, it definitely means that they're being called on or being solicited by a PEO. Here's a really great statistic that really does illustrate the growth of PEOs nationally over the years. So worksite employees in 2008 was about 1.6 million. In 2021, it's a little under 4 million worksite employees. And these numbers, like I said, are continuing to grow. The National Association of PEOs, which does a lot of lobbying on our behalf, anticipates this type of growth growing and growing over the years. They're also doing a major national campaign to raise awareness for PEOs to all of the business owners. So like I said, it's one of those things where it's going to become more and more likely that your clients are going to be approached by a PEO. And we want to make sure that you now have a PEO option in your portfolio. So when and if your client does become interested in it, that you now have something you can offer them. So if you're wondering how our great state of New York kind of fares in all of this with relations to, how important PEOs are becoming, we are in the top 10 states with PEOs having worksite employees. This list is actually alphabetical. I don't have any statistics on where New York ranks within this top 10. But if I had to take a guess, if I was in Vegas and had to bet, I would say that New York is definitely in the top 3, with probably Florida and California being in the top 3 as well. So now that we've talked about size, let's discuss really why the industry continues to grow and the reasons for it. Employee turnover of groups that are using a PEO is anywhere from 23% to 32% lower. Small businesses are growing at a rate of 7% faster, and businesses are 41% more likely to report growth in 2020. Now, these statistics are done, like I said, from NAPEO, which is a National Association of PEOs, which does a lot of lobbying and work on behalf of PEOs. And they were done from a third-party auditor that they contracted with to do some of these studies. They went out and took a sampling of thousands of businesses. Those were using a PEO and those were not. And these were, at the end of the study, some of the findings that they found. Employers can offer incentives like ancillary benefits and 401k plans at no additional cost to the employer, and that'll help them attract and retain talent. I'm sure we all know and have heard that there's a lot of people that are leaving their organizations now, and that probably is because of some of the benefits that they are or are not being offered. They look at a different company or get a different opportunity that might have a 401k or maybe some ancillary benefits that their current employer does not offer. It makes it more likely that they are going to look and leave. So using a PEO definitely helps with that product offering. And now that the PEO is handling a lot of the administrative paperwork, the owner now has the ability to focus back on their business, making it more likely that they have to report growth. So that small business owner can now focus on what it is that they got in business to do, rather than having to worry about the administrative functions like how to hire an employee or how to separate with an employee or conduct a performance review or create an employee handbook. All of that stuff the PEO does for them. In the heart of the pandemic, PEOs were 41% more likely to report growth than their counterparts. And why is that? Again, those business owners can now worry about getting more clients or their reopening strategy or where to spend money as far as marketing to get more business or more awareness for their business, rather than being bogged down with administrative tasks. So, and I hate having to do it, but it's hard not to talk about the effects have had on our clients of the last few years of the pandemic. So wanted to share some of the details of PEO clients in the last few years. And these are related to the PEO Client Partnership and how it yielded important results in terms of the client's success in receiving a PPP loan. Businesses using a PEO were 119% more likely to have received the loan, 72% more likely to have received a loan in round one, 91% less likely to be temporary closed, 60% less likely to be permanent closed. So they were significantly more likely to receive a PPP loan compared to small businesses that were not using a PEO. We worked with all of our clients throughout the pandemic on reopening strategies, vaccine mandates, what that means for them, what that means for their employment. If there was an employee that got sick or was exposed to someone who was, how they're supposed to handle that as a business owner, how they're supposed to handle that from a payroll perspective. And we really were advocates for our clients to make sure that, it's in our best interest that they reopen their doors. So we worked with them as best as we could to try to get, their doors back open and them back in business. Groups using a PEO on average, 65.9% of PEO clients received a PPP loan. That nationwide average to comparable small businesses that received PPP loans was 30.1%. So less than half of the businesses not using a PEO received the loan compared to those that were. Here's actually a nice quote from one of our clients. Since all of our clients are in one database and they're all under our federal ID number, when we create a report for one client, it's easily replicated for all of our client base. Since all of the clients are located again in one database, it's easy for us to create and replicate that for all of our clients. So once we created the PPP loan reporting that a group needed to go to the bank and to apply for their loan, we could easily make that for all of the businesses that are doing business with us. So this is just an example of how PEOs were able to assist their clients. This particular person is saying that they sat down and they didn't even request it, but the PPP loan report was ready in their inbox. And this was even before the banks were accepting the full application. So lastly, now and most importantly, I want to share with you and talk about why Decision HR, why HealthPass PEO, and if there's so many PEOs out there, how are we different than our competitors? And as we stated, there's dozens and dozens of PEOs doing business and more to grow within the next coming years. And some of them, which I'm sure you're familiar with, national recognition, national PEOs with thousands of feet on the street salespeople. And not going to, name any names here, but if your client gets solicited by one, we want you to know some of the key features of Decision HR so that you can talk with your clients and talk with us and help to retain that business. So again, not going to name any names here, but one of the largest PEOs gets most of their business, 90% of their business, from their internal payroll processing department. So what they do is they search the payroll client database, and they have over 650,000 employers in the US, and they find ones that they think would be a good fit for their PEO, and then they contact them directly. And in most cases, they're BORing the health and the workers' comp away from a broker like yourselves. So when your client comes to you to tell you that they want to learn more about a PEO, again, because they were solicited by one, we want you to have some information that you can give them about who we are. So first thing about, Health Pass PEO that's different is our carriers. Our Empire offering in New York consists of 12 plans, meaning each group has a variety that they can offer, and those are on all 3 of the Empire networks. They've got the largest available network in and throughout the boroughs and the upstate counties that they cover. And I know that they do work with other PEOs. So it's not just Decision HR in this market, in our New York market. However, they have no rules around pricing. So unlike Aetna PEOs that have a 5% parity rule, you can save your group money on their health insurance if you go from one Empire PEO to another. So the fact that our carriers, again, are that Empire is a carrier of ours is a huge differentiator. They're obviously nationally recognized, a great carrier, and businesses love them. So our admin fees are also extremely competitive compared to other PEOs in the market. So I'm confident that, we can stack up better than the other PEOs from a cost perspective. Also, and I'm sure you guys know this, Empire is offering an extra bonus of $26 per contract per month for all new business added to their PEO. So that's definitely something to get you thinking about and you talking about when you're out with your groups. Our other carriers, and yes, we understand that Health Pass is in New York, but if you've got a client in Connecticut, Missouri, or Florida that you think would be interested in PEO, by all means, you can send that through the Health Pass PEO portal and we can get it quoted for you. So we've got Anthem in Connecticut and Missouri. We are the only PEO to offer Anthem Connecticut and Anthem Missouri. So if you have a client that's solicited by, ADP Total Source or Insperity or TriNet in one of those states, Connecticut or Missouri, they will not be available to them to get an Anthem plan, whereas we can get you a quote for that. And we've got Florida Blue in Florida. So, like I said, if you've got clients in any of these 4 states, we'd be more than happy to run a quote for you if you think you've got someone that would be interested. We're also one of only 3 PEOs that have AIG as our workers' compensation carrier. We've been with them for 18 years and have just a massive book of business with AIG. So they give us an extreme amount of flexibility when it comes to pricing. They're a really great dedicated partner, and they, like I said, have really great workers' comp rates, especially for blue to gray collared industries, which, unlike many of our competitors, we actually love. The riskier the business, the more likely we are to save them money on their workers' comp premium. So, for example, the rates that we can get on a roofer, because we have 55,000 employees under our umbrella, are much better that 40-man roofing company in Hicksville can get alone. So we are not like our competitors. They really focus on the white collar business, the less risky. We really want the risky stuff and we'll go after that. And again, that's where we can save your groups a good amount of money. So I think that our carriers definitely are a differentiator for us. If some of you have experience with PEOs, you probably have heard in the past that getting an understanding of how the PEO is billing them is a challenge. Well, we pride ourselves on being completely transparent with our billing. As you can see from this bill, we line item each service that we're providing. So we start off with gross wages up here at the top, detail each individually taxed separately. The risk management fee here, 5th line up, that's our workers' compensation fee. And then our administrative fees. We can either bill your clients a percent of the gross wages, or we can charge based on a per employee per month. Most PEOs will do one or the other. So in competitive situations, we can price it both ways so that you can see what our cost is. And then down here at the bottom is the employer benefits bill. Lastly, the total. So each of these line items has a corresponding report that shows more detail. So for example, the benefits bill shows the medical, dental, and vision, and then any ancillaries. But the total is shown here on the invoice. Many of our competitors will bundle these services together into a total percentage and charge that per employee, which makes it really difficult to kind of dissect what they're charging for each service. The way that we bill allows our client to see exactly what their costs are. And finally, in my opinion, really one of the most important things is our dedicated payroll and HR teams. My background, I spent almost 20 years in small business payroll, so been very involved in payroll and selling payroll to clients. Getting those employees paid on time and accurately is why they're coming to work every day. And it's really emotional. And one of, I think, most of the important things that a business owner can do is make sure that their payroll is accurate. Each client with us gets one specific payroll person who will get familiar with them and their payroll needs. And they received one dedicated HR rep who's regionally located to support them. Now, these are live reps, no call centers or tickets. They have backups and managers that they put into place if they are out or if a client can't get in touch with them, maybe because they're on the phone with another client. And they're really experts in the HR rules and laws in their geographic area that they're covering. So we've got a handful of representatives that cover New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, again, because we want them to know about the, Connecticut paid family leave. We want them to know about the New York paid time off laws. We want them to know and be experts really in the areas where they have their client base. And we've got these little pods located throughout the US. So if you have a New York client that has employees in Florida and California, we've also got representatives feet on the street in those areas as well. These are HR and payroll representatives in those areas as well. So their New York rep can contact our California or our Florida HR business partner to get answers for your clients for all of their needs. Really, one of the most important benefits of using a PEO is the fact that you've got this HR support and it can be in all 50 states, especially now in this work from home environment that we're all living in. Many businesses don't have employees in just the state where they have a location. They've got employees all over. And with a PEO, instead of having to apply for unemployment numbers or ID numbers in those states, it's as easy as just adding that employee on. Again, because we do business in all 50 states. And the rules and regulations, they're only continuing to grow. In 1980, there were 33 employment laws and regulations that employers had to comply with. Presently, there are 91. So 91 laws and regulations that these small business owners, they just simply don't have the bandwidth to keep up with all of that, plus run their business. Instead, they can partner with a PEO who can alleviate those tasks for them. Our average size client has 27 employees, and I think that's really the perfect sweet spot, anywhere from 5 to 100 employees, because that business is large enough that they really need to follow all these rules and regulations and compliance issues. But they're large enough that they've got employees and that they need this assistance. But they're not too big where they have HR people on staff. So that's where they can partner with a PEO, and we're looking out for the best interest of them and their employees because we're sharing in the responsibility of these employees. So hopefully that gave you guys enough information. I wanted to touch base and just give you an idea of how big the PEO industry is. It's continuing to grow. If your clients haven't started talking about it yet, they probably will. Wanted to give you just about PEOs in general and how we help our clients and how we really are advocates for the business owner and the employees, and then give you some ideas about HealthPass PEO and how we're different from our competitors. Like I said, at any point in time, if you want to learn more about this, learn more about the Empire products or our workers' comp program, please reach out to your HealthPass representatives, and we'd be more than happy to schedule a face-to-face meeting or schedule a call. I'm going to pass it over to Jonah now.
All right. Thank you, Patrice. That was great. This concludes our webinar for today. Thank you all for attending. As a reminder, we're going to be sending out the answered questions as well as a copy of the presentation in the coming days. Additionally, should you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to your HealthPass account executive. Once again, thank you all for attending.